Hey guys, Jonah here, back with a beer review, another beer in the Merakai Big Six beer reviews that I'm doing, and it was another hot one today. It wasn't quite as hot as it has been previously, but ooh, man, the last few days have been incredibly warm here. Hey, it is what it is. So, the beer we're doing is a collaboration beer today. And this one's called All Roads Lead to Nowhere. It's Merakai, obviously, but it's with S43 Brewery. It's a NEIPA, 6.4% on the ABV. Brewing without boundaries, it says over there. We do have some other things. They are slightly at a slant. So I'm going to pour this beer out, and we don't have to worry about any logos and stuff because they're all across the top today, so none of that pouring kind of stuff. But it's another NEIPA. I know a lot of people are doing NEIPAs lately, but I am really liking them. Okay, we're using the kind of chalice glass again. And let's get this bad boy into the glass first. This is not the first beer I've had today, so please forgive me. I've had a couple of Guinnesses already. Wow, that has made very, very nice. Yeah, a couple of Guinnesses out by the sea overlooking France, which is kind of cool. We are talking two-finger action going on. Look at that head. Perfect white, mega big bubbles. You can see them on there. That head probably won't hang around for too long, but never mind. Lovely citrus aromas. Maybe a bit of peach too, but citrus, tropical, that kind of side of things. Smells reasonably sweet too, sort of candied beer. Obviously, it's a milkshakey type beer. This one is thick. There is no way you're seeing anything through there. Looks like, obviously without the head, that could be a glass of orange juice. Right, let me get the rest of that beer in there. Oh my God, there's some evil floating things in there. Jesus Christ, look at those things. I don't know if you can see. There are green things sitting at the bottom of my glass. You see those? Right here. They are pieces of hop. They're not yeast, they are pieces of hop. So, sorry guys, but you get marked down for that. That's not good in my book. Okay, let's have a look at this. This is quite cool. Brewed and packaged at the S43 Brewery in County Durham, up north. We've got Mosaic, Simcoe, Idaho 7, Citra, and Galaxy. Wow, that's an epic hop bill. Marisota, we've got oats, we've got wheat, we've got Vienna malt, we've got dextrin, we've got some lactose, and they use the Vermont yeast. And it says there, obviously, barley, wheat, oats, lactose, milk sugars. Bottled back in December, and it says best before June. We are in July, so about a month after the best before date. However, Jesus Christ, those floaty bastards, that has not cheered up my day, especially when you're canning. Guys, please hook up some sort of filtration, even if it's like a hop filter, for fuck's sake. It's not difficult to do, and in my book that is very sloppy quality control. That should never happen. Getting hop particles into a beer is something that you might expect when you're barreling a beer, perhaps, but in a canned beer, no. Sorry, but no. They're probably doing it saying, oh, we're not chill filtering, we're not doing all this kind of stuff. You can just put an inline filter in your system and no hot particles. Yeast, okay, it's not going to stop yeast. I totally get that. But that is not yeast. They are pieces of hop in the bottom of my beer. Won't be the first time, but I just don't think it's very professional. Sorry, guys, but that's just me. Right, let's try the actual beer. I'm sure it's going to be a lovely beer. Wow, very zesty, very lemony, up front, lots of pith. Then it mellows a bit into that tropical, I want to say lemon, but perhaps there's some orange kind of peely stuff going on there too. Very kind of juicy, yeah, as in like juice. You know, if you have juice sometimes and it's got seeds in it, you get your bottle of orange juice and you get your seeds in it. And you think, oh, it's not too bad, it's only seeds. That's kind of how I feel about it getting hops. I wish you could actually see what I'm saying, because there's, maybe as I get to the bottom I can swirl it up a bit. On the camera I can see there's a lot of particles there, but in the bottom of my glass I can see these green things. If it's not hops, then it's mold, and that is even worse, dude. Anyway, cheers and beers. Oh. Yeah, it's like, it's very grapefruity as well. It's like, it's almost like not orange juice, but grapefruit juice. Really stripping out that astringent kind of fruit zestiness. And yes, it says best before June, and I'm drinking this in July. Yep, it could be past its date. However, that fruit thing is way, way over the top for me. I've had beers that are similar to this, but maybe if you knocked out the hop matter, then you get a bit longer best before date, perhaps. But it's all about quality control. And when breweries are charging quite a lot of money for a product, and they put it on a pedestal and say, "Oh, this is amazing beer and it's craft brew," and all this kind of nonsense, and then the quality control isn't very good, just makes you look like fucking idiots. Do you know what I mean? It makes you look very foolish. But it also makes your customers foolish too, for buying inferior products thinking they're going to get something really good, and they're not. Okay, let's relax, let's chill out. The wheat and the oats, this is a NEIPA, don't forget, this is not a West Coast kind of style. It's very juicy, but I'm not getting that smoothness that you would expect from a heavily oated or wheated NEIPA beer. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's not a huge amount of oats and wheat in the actual malt bill, in the grist. I wouldn't dream of saying that you do that to save money, but maybe this, because this beer has been brewed at S43 instead of Merakai themselves, maybe their brewery hasn't got the same sort of quality controls that perhaps they would do if they were in Uckfield. It's not really, really hot, but 6.5, what was it, 6.4? Yeah, it is a little bit boozy. You can definitely taste that. But I've had this beer in the fridge for, a couple of days, so It's definitely had time to chill out. I'm not 100% sure I would call this a traditional or a new school NEIPA in that kind of style, purely because it's got so much of that citrus, juicy character, and less of that kind of smoothness that comes from the malt bill in this case. This is a hop forward beer as opposed to kind of a malt forward beer, but in the way that's kind of in the West Coast style, a bit more in your face, but purely from the juiciness. It's a shame because I really wanted to like this beer right at the beginning, but for me, kind of falls a bit short. And it could be because this beer is slightly past its best, but that would still mean there were hop particles in there. And basically, what happens if you leave the hops in suspension in a beer, they get more and more bitter over time. What I've done in the past is I haven't dry hopped a beer, but I've dropped a piece of hop into a bottle of beer, then capped it. It all settles out, but when you open that beer, it is incredibly bitter. Um, that is what's happened here. There are better ways of getting that kind of that bitterness, that juiciness, that zestiness into your beer without kind of letting quite a lot of hot particles come through. Filter, man, filtering is amazing. And I don't mean just do a cone or a whirlpool. That's not good enough. Oh, it's a shame because they've got that verdant. Is it verdant or Vermont? Vermont yeast, um, like the Alchemist use. I don't know if that's their in-house style, but I've had Heady Topper before and fantastic beer, really nice beer. Um, and that yeast, it is becoming popular purely because of that kind of style. Yeah, it puts a lot of things in there. Actually, Jesus Christ, there's lactose in here, isn't there? Yeah, there's some added lactose in here too. Where the fuck? Where did that go? That is absolutely ridiculous because I cannot taste any kind of sweeten or any back sweetening. So you've got oats, you've got wheat, you've also got lacto in there. How is this beer so bitter? It must be because the hop particles are going through whatever system you're using, staying in suspension, staying in the can in this case, and it's being uptaken into the beer. So yeah, I have to call this one a miss, which is a real shame because Merakai were really doing some amazing beers, and the last couple I've had, yeah, not so good. Oh. Right, let me see if I can swirl up what I'm talking about. Can you see any of those floaty bits in there? I don't think you can. You can see the white yeasty bits, but that is not what I'm talking about. Oh, damn you. Let me tell you, they are in there. Anyway, been a bit of a miss this one. So this is the collaboration beer, All Roads Lead to Nowhere, which is S43 crossed over with Merakai Brewing, NEIPA at 4.5%. For me personally, because of the quality control issues, this one's a bit of a miss. However, don't take my word for it. If you want to try this beer, if you can still get hold of it, hopefully they've done some new collaborations because that one, wow, quite carbonated. It's technically out of date, so I'm not suggesting you try an out of date beer. But if you can get hold of a collaboration such as this, why don't you go for it and let me know what you think. Anyway, it's been Uncle Jonah. Cheers and beers. Click like, click subscribe. Don't think I just miraculously paper pass beers. I do give you my honest opinion, especially when I've had a couple of pints of Guinness at the local before I've come here. We'll see you real soon for another beer review. Till then, guys, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Remember, drink some beer.